Yeah, hi. Today we're back with our podcast Just Go and Maria Pagas, and we have Robin and Josep, and they were going to speak about Japan. So, hi. Do you
Hello.
want to speak about where did you go? What did you do? How did you like your experience?
Do you want to start or you want me to start?
You can start.
All right. Basically, me and Robin went to this. We went to Japan and we stayed in Nagoya for 6 months. So for those who don't know where Nagoya is, it's between Osaka and Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the third biggest city, if I remember correctly,
Yeah.
in terms of inhabitants. We went to this university called NUCB undergraduate school. So it's just basically this big campus, and you have all these kind of events, sports, etc. And you basically one of the big differences we would say is the way they study.
Mm-hmm.
So what they do is they have this thing called case studying. Essentially, what you do is for every lecture, you have this case study. It can vary from like 5 pages to 30 pages. And the goal is that you read it,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go to class, and you basically have this open-ended discussion with your teacher. So you'll dissect the cases, what did they do, what went wrong, what should have they done, and it's basically like that. Of course, you'll have occasional homeworks and stuff, but
Okay.
not that much.
But why did you choose Japan in the first place? Why Japan?
Well, to be honest, within high school, like I had a bit of a Japan fever. I mean, the pandemic was the perfect time to binge shows and whatever. So I just wanted to go as far as possible and see see it
Okay.
out for myself.
Okay, but
For me, it was kind of different because I was actually planning to move to either Korea or Japan after my graduation for
Mhm.
bachelor's. And then I found out that you can actually go to Japan with Erasmus. And then I was like, I'll sacrifice like staying longer in EBS 6 months just to go there because for
Mhm.
me, it kind of seems odd to move to a country you've never been in.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll take the 6 months, see if I actually enjoy the country, the culture, the people, etc., and if I see a potential future there. So
Okay.
that was my goal.
Okay. Okay. So will you go to Japan afterwards or not?
That is my goal is to go. That is
Okay.
though if I get like accepted, etc.
Okay. Maybe you have some highlights of the courses and lectures that you liked back there that are like really eye-opening that you would love EBS to have.
So I'll talk first for
Yeah.
my open personal experience. I did enjoy the case study method
Mm-hmm.
just because it opens up discussions to talk with your teacher. It's not very textbook based.
Mm-hmm.
And also in a weird way, I think it helps students like get to know one another more
Mhm.
on a deeper level. Because in Estonia or everywhere in Europe, I would say it's basically you go to class, you open your computer, the teacher's either reading off the
Mhm.
slides, etc. It's just very like feels like high school again.
Mm-hmm.
But there it was more like you go there, you have a civilized discussion, people discuss their opinions, and then you
Mhm.
debate one another. I feel like it's more like developing, and
Mhm.
it's more structured not to make like these typical workers or employees. It's more
Mhm.
like for innovation, those people
Mhm.
who actually lead other people.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was nice, but I don't think it will ever work in Estonia because, you know, Estonian classes, it's
I
dead
mean,
silent.
I think
depends on the lecture. If the lecture is really like engaging, then I guess so. Why not?
I do also I do see a future for it, but I also think just how Estonians are, especially for foreigners, I think they can agree. It's Estonians are very shy. Like we don't really go out of our comfort zone to meet new people. Of course, there are exceptions,
Mhm.
but I would say, in generally speaking, it's you have a tight friend group who you're friends with, and then you don't really expand from that. Same thing. Even if you look at EBS, like our class structures, there's very set like friend groups
Friends, yeah.
and they don't intermingle in all honesty
I
that
don't think
often.
but
That's
I
true.
wouldn't say that the Japanese are really like they're not really like the ones that are going to speak with you either. Like when they're coming to Estonia, as from my experience, they're really closed down. They do. It's hard to mix them in the international groups. They're just trying to be alone,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that Japanese and Estonians are quite alike in that sense.
In
I
that
would
sense,
agree, yeah.
in that sense, yeah. But I think also the common problem in Japan is a lot of Japanese people don't speak English, So for
Mm.
me, the ones that did speak English, I did hang out with after school. I had like a few good friends, especially like Makito.
Mhm.
He went to Canada to learn English so he
Mhm.
can communicate better, and he actually put in the effort to like talk to, especially like international students. But I would say the main problem is it's not that they don't want to speak to you; it's they don't have the
They know
possibility
how
of
to.
speaking to you.
Okay. But would you describe the academic atmosphere at your host university? Was it like really strict, or was it more like easygoing? Because like some students when they come to Estonia, they say that our classes here at EBS, they're like really easygoing. The lecturers are like friends, and we're all just vibing and chilling here. And then sometimes some teachers some go like abroad and say that abroad like the lecture is really strict, and we just have to sit like 90 degrees and hands on the on the table, and that's it. What was it back there?
It wasn't really strict at all.
No, I would say
No?
it
It
wasn't
was really
strict at all.
friendly.
Yeah. So I think it's the atmosphere they created in general. It's like open-end discussions. There's no
Mhm.
like there is of course formality,
Mhm.
but in a way it might also be that the teachers are mostly foreigners.
Mhm.
So
Oh, yeah.
it's more open. You can talk with them nonchalant as we are talking right
Mhm.
now, and they don't see it. Although if you do have like, I think this is more prevalent for Asian teachers. There is some set of like boundaries
Mhm.
and stuff. I can't like go up to the teacher and be like, "How was your day?" Of course they'll answer, but it won't be like
It will be weird for
yeah,
them.
it'll be weird for them.
Okay. Okay, let's go further about like living and accommodation. So, as I've already heard, you lived on campus or off campus. Both of you are
Both of us lived on campus, yeah.
How was it? Like, was it okay? Was the dormitory clean? Did you have food in the dormitory? I don't know. Like,
I mean, we had a
I'm learning
vending
so much
machine.
stuff here about dormitories.
Well, for me, there's two dormitories. One is
Mhm.
in Meito, which is in the center, and one is Samongi, which is close. It's a 20-minute walk, give or
Mhm.
take,
Like
your pace of
2
walking.
kilometers.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's so for me at least it was strategic. It was to be as closest to the
Yeah.
uni as possible.
The same
You
for me.
wanted to sleep in. Huh?
Yeah, not only that, but like in Estonia, for example, I was telling Japanese people, for example, and a lot of I said public transportation. If you're a citizen of Tallinn, transportation is free for you.
Yeah.
But in Japan, it's not free, and
How much is it?
It's quite expensive.
it is
actually.
quite.
Oh.
If I want to go to the center, it will cost me about like give or take like 7-10 euros. I would say back
One
and forth.
way.
No, back and forth.
Okay.
Back and forth.
Back
Still
and forth
quite
to-
a lot.
I mean,
Yeah.
the bus to school from the Auditorium was like €1.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
right.
like
And
you
it's,
could
like,
even
with
have a
2
bus.
kilometers.
Like you can still take a bus, but it's like 20 minutes of walking.
Not bad, yeah.
It's not bad.
If it's
And the
weather is
weather
okay,
in
then why
like
not?
Japan is very comforting, I would say.
Yeah.
Except summer. That was
That was very hot, like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
Humidity.
Yeah.
is
like
Yeah.
when we left, at least I came in a hoodie and wearing full black, as you know you do.
Yeah.
And then you go to Japan, and then like
You
I-
learned it the bad way.
I left the hotel, and I was just sweating profusely. I was just like, this is so hard. Like I would show up to class like in a t-shirt. I would be sweating,
Yeah.
and then the next part is, I hope I don't stink. Like,
So, but the school started in August, or like it was it still
No,
September?
it started at September. Like
September?
the second week, the first week was like an intro week.
Intro week, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, we know Japan has a lot of interesting foods. How did you like the food scene? Did you find something new, some favorites?
I mean, I love Asian food in general. So for me, it was like paradise on earth. And I was so sad when I came back to Estonia. And the first thing I got was tomatoes, potatoes, and like just meat. I felt
came
so
back home.
bland. Yeah. Welcome home.
Something that you really like your
With the
favorite
sushi in Osaka, I had like the bluefin tuna sushi. It was amazing.
For me,
And also no cream cheese.
Oh, yeah.
They
Like,
don't. I've heard that.
just
I can't even eat the
Sushi
Estonia sushi.
sushi quality was way better, but I fell in love especially with like ramen, for example. It was like my go-to. I would say the food is more expensive,
Mm-hmm.
but the
Is
food
it though?
the meat is, but and fruits are. But I would say the food quality, at least for me, might be biasness, but I would say it's better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Good.
with the fruits, yeah, you had like with 2 apples for like €6.
Yeah. So that
Why
was a
the
culture.
fruits
That
are
was
so
that was a
expensive?
culture shock. Going to like
They were
7-Eleven.
huge.
Yeah, going to like 7-Eleven or Family Mart, and then you see one premium banana for like €1. I was like,
Okay.
huh?
And then here back in Estonia, when banana is like 139
Yeah.
kilo, people are
Yeah.
like, what? Like so
Yeah.
expensive.
And like meat is also quite expensive. Because I was like, my parents were like, why aren't you buying like that many fruits and vegetables? And then I was like, I took my phone out, I showed them the prices, and they thought I was like, oh, you're probably shopping
but
in
so
a posh
is
area.
it cheaper to eat out or like cooking?
So it really depends where you're going,
Yeah.
honestly. But I would say, like, eating out is better. Like, because it's, okay, you pay maybe €1 more, €2 more, but you have warm food that's done in good quality, etc.
You don't have to hassle in the kitchen.
Yeah. But it's just where we lived. The
Oh.
only, like, eating place or restaurant was this Chinese place that was, like,
Yeah.
In Japan, the Chinese
Yeah.
place. Really cool.
The prices were good. You got the huge portion. It was like €7, and you got like the 2-course meal.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically. So,
Well-
yeah, because I did research and it, like the surprising thing was like sometimes it's cheaper to eat out. And I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
being in Estonia, it's like, what do you mean? Like, I mean, you like
Does
look at
not
the
work like
prices
that,
and you're
yeah.
like, yeah, makes sense.
Even
you know?
McDonald's is like heavy priced already for me. I guess like it's crazy. You can pay for McDonald's like €20 if you want to eat. Like
Yeah.
together, like if you eat, it's going to be 25, 30.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, but when you're going like abroad, you have like your budget.
Mm-hmm.
That did you have like some approach how to manage your living expenses in Japan? Like, was it at first like hard for you to coordinate with another? It was yen, right, in Japan?
Yeah, it's
Is
right.
it like hard to like navigate what the prices actually are if you're coming from Eurozone?
No, because the time we were, because the yen actually fluctuates quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it could be like €1 is 150 yen.
Mhm.
But at the
But
like,
usually it was like 170.
yeah,
No,
but
that's
it would
right.
fluctuate at one point to being 138. So I'd just do the.
Wait, what? Actually?
Yeah, it was like the peak was I think it was
Oh
like
my God.
138.
But you had your
So
cash.
cheap.
Like, did you distribute somehow that much money would go there, or like you just went all in, no care about money?
No, I at least for me it was like my personal thing was I want to kind of try to live my own life,
Mhm.
which is like try to live with the Erasmus money that I have,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to like. It was like for me it was like a learning experience, like being
Mhm.
alone. You have to go grocery shopping, etc.
Mhm.
There's no meals at home when I come, and
Nobody's taking care of you.
yeah, no one is taking care of me. So I wanted to like really learn how to like balance it out, like my finances. Like I would say the biggest expenditure I had was traveling to like Tokyo and Osaka and public transportation, because you live in the rural area, which is for Estonia like peak rush hour, but like if you want to go out, right, it's like you have to consider it's like it's €10 to go out.
Yeah.
And then to go out, which I don't like, which I'm actually very blessed in Estonia, is public, like in Japan, public transport stops at midnight. And since we live in the like outside, like a 40-minute train ride, you're out clubbing or whatever, just having fun. You're like,
You
do
gotta
I now
stay there,
leave at 12 or do I wait for the 5 a.m. train, right,
Yeah.
to go home? Because taxis are obnoxiously
Oh, yeah.
pricey there. That's like one culture shock as well. Is like you would expect the taxis, because there's so many people, you'd be
Yeah,
like
the
demand
taxis are not.
demand
that
is high.
expensive, yeah.
Surely the prices will drop. No, I would say it's even more expensive in Japan to ride a taxi.
Okay. But were there any culture differences that influenced your daily life that were like different? Or that you maybe
daily
come back and now
Oh.
do like you did in Japan?
For me, I became
Bowing.
bowing.
Bowing?
Yeah,
Bowing.
that's like that. That it sounds so sad to say,
You
but
don't
like
even notice it.
yeah, like even like today, I unconsciously like just like person in the door, I just did the slight
Yeah.
bow, you
That's
know.
something that South Korea girls told us too. That bowing is something
Yes,
that they
yes.
still do like unconsciously.
Yeah, like I was in the Turkey airport and I bumped it and instantly sumimasen, and then I bowed without even like giving
I
the
mean,
second thought. And the other
that's
person was
not
like, "What are you
bad thing.
doing?"
That's not a bad thing.
No,
So like it's
but
like a respect giving.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, they're very respectful. They're very quiet. So for me, as like an introvert, I really enjoyed it. but also like the politeness, I think there goes a long way. Like you cross a road, for example, even if you have the right to cross the road, you still thank the driver. In Estonia, you don't
Yeah.
do that. Like you can like
In Estonia, you jump in front of the car, and if he
Yeah.
does not stop, you just say that he's a not really good person. So, okay.
So it's like just like being nice, and like when we were hanging out in Nagoya, we wanted to see like temples, for
Yeah, yeah.
example, and we had like a monk who approached us, for example, and he offered us matcha tea, and I instantly went to him. I was like, watch this be like super pricey,
Yeah.
just scamming the
Tourists.
tourists out of my mind. And to my shock, it was on the house.
Hmm.
And he was like asking all these questions, like, where you from?
You just
And you're
wanna
like,
talk.
Yeah, he just wants to talk. And he's like, where are you from? And you're like, Estonia. And he's like, eh? Like, no one knows where Estonia is because it's such a small
I mean,
country.
you know, like you went to Japan. Of course, nobody knows
Yeah,
Estonia. I
but
went to Paris.
here's-
Nobody knew where Estonia
Yeah, but
is.
here's the thing: it's like, where is Estonia? You're like Northern Europe. It's like next to Finland and Russia, and they instantly, oh, Finland! I love Finland. And
Yeah,
you're like,
Finland is something
like
that
the
they
movie.
know.
yeah, Moomy. You're
Yeah.
like, God
Yeah,
damn
yeah.
it, Finland! Like,
I mean, they're the happiest country on the world in the world. So
yeah, and then like people
no.
asking like, what religion do you guys have in your country? It's like, believe it or not, we're like the
Most
most
of us,
atheist country in
yeah.
the world. And then the monk was
Yeah,
like
that was
super
hard to
surprised.
expla-
It was like,
explain, yeah.
what do you mean you have no religion in your country? It felt
You
like we're
should
all
have-
sinners in some case. He was so baffled, like how our society can
Oh,
even.
you
We
should
dance
have
around
told
the
them that
bonfire.
we believe in woods and fairy tales, like
Yeah.
you know Estonia.
Yeah,
like,
but
believe
that's
in
like
that.
folklore. I would more say it's not like.
But I mean, the monk would be super surprised. Okay, but was it hard to adapt to the social norms there? Like, okay, I understand you are like introvert, you don't speak real loud. Like, I am a really loud person. I guess for me that would be at first like a shock
Mm-hmm.
that I have to like think about it. Okay, you should speak maybe not that loud and stuff. Like, was it hard for you, Robin, to
What-
go there?
But I'm an introvert too, so what it was really comfortable for me.
Okay.
But I would say because I've lived most of my life abroad, so
Mm.
like adapting to like different cultures and stuff comes quite naturally, I would say, for me. But overall, I wouldn't have a problem. But it is, again, like speaking in public. One thing I did catch myself doing is like speaking with my friends quite loudly in public transport. And then like I would have a situation where I would go on a bus, talk with my friend, and the bus driver would stop his like vehicle
Yeah.
and tell me to shush. And then he would put in
Really?
like, yeah, he would tell me to
Oh
shush.
my god.
And then on the screen, you would see like in Japanese, it would say, please be quiet, for example.
Okay. I cannot go to Japan, as I understand right now.
No, it depends. But like, it's so weird. I don't know if you know this, but like, if you go to Osaka, like Japan is very clean,
Yeah.
etc.
Yeah.
But if you go to Osaka, there's, I would say like, that's like the more Western part. It's like
Mhm.
people are more louder there. I would say in
Or
general,
louder, yeah.
there's cigarette buns everywhere.
But I didn't notice it.
Oh, okay. Maybe I was in the
You
wrong
were looking for
neighborhood.
them.
But like I would say that, and then another culture shock was it was the amount of smoking in Japan is actually very heavy. Like you would have,
Really?
yeah,
But
you would
no
have.
one smoked on the street.
No one smokes on the street, but you would have designated smoking areas. So in the
Filled with people.
yeah, filled with people, me
Really?
included. I'll be honest. But like you'll have like designated smoking areas, and even in malls you would have like rooms that are designed for smokers. Like if you go out,
But is the it wasn't the cigarettes really expensive in Japan?
no, they're the same price.
Okay.
I think it's because so many people smoke. It's like the price obviously goes down because demand.
Because I always thought that Japanese do not smoke that much. You know,
No,
if
they
you look
do.
at the
No, they're heavy
Europeans,
smokers.
like
They're
French
heavy
or Germans,
smokers. No,
they're
no, no,
heavy
no.
smokers too. Like Estonians, we smoke, but not that much.
No, it's
Okay, that's
it's
something
very heavy
interesting.
smoking. Like you would have 15-minute breaks. People like majority of people
Run
would
to
go
smoke.
to the smoking area.
Yeah, okay.
It'd be heavy.
But do you have any like memorable experiences or events that have happened in the host culture that are like the main things that if somebody is going to ask about your exchange that you would point out and say that that was the most exciting thing?
What I wouldn't say exciting, but the weirdest part for me, especially in the beginning, was people coming up to you and being like, "Oh, you're so tall," or you're
Oh.
so handsome," and it would
Or,
mostly
like,
be men,
activate.
right? And it'd be mostly men. So I'd be like, "Am I like giving mixed vibes, or like?" It was just I was like, "Am I like not part of Am I not? Am I showcasing myself differently?" But it was like,
No,
but
just
then you get
friendly.
used, yeah. And then you come back to Estonia, you're like, you know what? I'm not tall, like at all. But there, you're like looking over everyone, and it's just like I don't know. It was
Okay.
people are very nice. Like they'll more than help you. Like I got sick and had to
Even
go.
I felt tall there.
Yeah, even like and Robin's not that tall, but
Yeah.
like
You
casual. This
basically are next to each other.
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine. But they're actually very helpful, which
Okay.
is like even if they don't like speak, because I had to go like I would get lost or something, and for a long time I didn't want to buy data.
Okay.
So I would-
Expensive?
No, it wasn't expensive. I think I was just being cheap and all.
Okay.
Because sometimes I knew Robin had internet or something, so I would
He
just
used
I
you.
would steal
Yeah.
his internet. Oh, bro, I'm a thief. Like the amount of data I would steal from him
Yeah.
is crazy.
I mean, I had unlimited data, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so then understanding. But did you pick up any language during your abroad time? Did you learn
So-
Japanese?
So I did go to because I was planning to move to Japan anyway, so I was like, might as well learn the language.
Hmm.
But he didn't go any languages.
Yeah. but I
Language
skipped,
courses,
the
I did,
Japanese course.
but for
But was it hard without Japanese?
I mean, you can't understand basically anything.
You just went with
Oh,
the flow, as I understand.
another culture shock was at least in Nagoya, because no one speaks English. You kind of have to start speaking Japanese to some level.
Hmm.
But as soon as you went to like Tokyo, when I went to Tokyo, for example, and I approached the cashier, she spoke in English, and I was like,
straight away, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, what? Like someone speaks English? It was like
They're just
crazy.
I mean,
used
with the
to
soccer was
tourists.
also
Yeah.
more with English based.
And but in Nagoya, it's like foreigners aren't that like common there.
Mm.
So you would catch people like looking at you, like talking about you or
But
whatnot.
you learned English, Japanese, so that you could speak with them.
To some level degree, but I'll be honest, like the way they teach languages
Mm-hmm.
is very textbook based, right?
Okay.
And I would say I learned more by just having like a few Japanese friends
Mm-hmm.
than attending
with them.
class.
Yeah. Okay, but what were your main things that you did at your free time? Did you go to gyms? Did you go to clubs? Did you, I don't know, go to library,
I didn't
museums?
join any clubs, to be honest.
For me, it was well. I used to go to the gym here in Estonia before, so I had to find. So I'd occasionally work out with my Filipino friend who did
Mhm.
football, and then we would train together. And then I would just go walking around. For me, it was. I don't know what it is. I just really enjoy like the architecture, the scenery that Japan has, is very very nice. So it
Mhm.
would be like. It would be so weird to say, but like I would just go on like late night walks through like
Mhm.
the city or whatever. I would just really enjoy it because it's very vibrant compared to Sony. You have
Yeah.
like screens. I was telling Robin when we were in Japan, I had to get used to the amount of like lights
Mhm.
everywhere. The
Mhm.
TV screens when you go to the store. There's text like
Mhm.
some audio screaming at you, like but you would
Mm.
over sensory you
Yeah.
would have, but you would get used to
Sensory
it.
overload, yeah.
Yeah.
Were there any like specific places of attractions that you say that you absolutely have to go there?
Well, just Japan overall.
Japan
No,
or-
I would say if you're going to Japan, you should at least have 2-3 weeks. There's no point in
Yeah.
going for less. You will barely, I would say even us for 6 months, we barely scratched the surface of what Japan has to offer. It also depends what you want, right? Because I love cars, for example, especially JDM cars. So for me, like going to like Tokyo, for example, where JDM cars are very like common,
Mhm.
is like a huge thing. But if you're looking more on the traditional side of Japan, I would strongly suggest Kyoto,
Mhm.
as Kyoto is like one of the most well-held places. It's the most traditional looking, and it's also, if you're like calm places, it's a place you should go, especially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, one place you should go if you love animals is with Nara Park.
Yeah,
Nara Park.
Yeah, they have like free roaming with deers everywhere,
yeah.
and the bow.
Oh,
yeah, they bow.
deers
Yeah,
bow?
yeah, they do.
Deer's bow.
Yeah. You
Crazy.
give them a cookie,
They-
they like bow at you, and you're like, that's crazy.
Okay, but looking back, what was the most valuable lesson you learned during your time there?
I would.
I just learned how to survive on my
Just
own.
survival.
I think for me, personally, it's like sure Japanese people don't like that much foreigners, you could say, but I would say the reason they don't like a lot of foreigners is because they don't adapt to the social norms.
Mm-hmm.
They're either loud, they're not respectful, they don't bow. Like if you do the bare minimum, like just like
friendly.
they'll be friendly towards you. And if you're like showing effort and at least like trying to learn their language or something, they're way more nicer to you. I think the same thing can be said in Estonia, for example, or any
Mhm.
country you go. You should adapt to the social norms.
At least try, yeah.
Yeah, because like even at like our university, there was like these known Erasmus students, for example, in France, who were just being obnoxious, loud.
It's French.
Yeah,
Yeah, the French were
The French are
obnoxious.
French and Spaniards, all
Yeah,
Spaniards too.
like
so.
loud, everything. Like you could see, like especially in like the Japanese community, they did not like that sort of behavior. But
yeah.
so I would
Okay.
just say like adapting to the norms is like
Okay.
the way to go.
What kind of advice would you give to students considering an exchange program in the future? What they should do before going, or like, do they have to research something? Or
I mean, for me, it's the main focus is like, why are you going to that country? Because
Mhm.
I think Erasmus is okay. You get to go to a foreign country, for example, but there should be, in some shape or form, some reason you're going to that country.
Mhm.
Like, at least from my experience, I had a specific reason to go to Japan. It's
Mhm.
to see the country if I want to move there and just network.
Mhm.
So I would say just do your research about why do you want to go there? What are the social norms there? Because I think a lot of people don't respect the social norms, and I think it's something you should do no matter where you go,
Mhm.
is uphold those social norms. Even if you don't like them, you should still follow them.
Mhm. And you?
I think that the most important thing is to go. It doesn't really matter where you go, as long as you go, the experience will make it up for itself.
Okay. So yeah, and thank you, and I guess it's done, and thank you, and you see you in next episode. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, bye.